Colbyjack.net is proud to present From the Flames by Trisha M. Wilson. The people of the fire, the Blesa, led by their queens, have ruled the island of Alfeyju and oppressed the Driva, the people of the ice, for more than 16 generations. With the Drivian King in hiding and little hope on the horizon, the Driva looked to one person to save them from the vile Blesa, the Diviana. According to legend, the divinely gifted Diviana will one day overthrow the Blesa and restore the Drivian King to his rightful throne. But with the search having lasted for more than 400 years, will the Diviana ever come to light? Willow is the slave of the Raskpil family. Bought at the age of 4, 20 years have passed since her life irrevocably changed. Her existence is no worse than any other slave, but within, Willow wonders if there isn't something more she should be doing with her life other than serving the ungrateful. Ordered to travel with her master's family to Sondertoft, so her master's adult children can take part in an ancient rite of passage, Willow is shocked when she learns that she too must participate. Will she fail, as all before her have? Will she rise to the challenge and become stronger after passing through the flames? Episode 40, Chapter 22. Christ.
"We'll arrive at Nor in a few days," Hawk said, sitting down at the table where Sigurd and Willow were, "if the seas don't turn against us."
"Do they normally?" Sigurd asked in a laughing tone.
"The seas are unpredictable to all who sail upon her. Underestimating her, or taking anything she gives for granted, would be very unwise, and likely the last thing you do. I've heard of huge ships, full of men returning from great sea battles, acting boastful and ungrateful for what the spirit of the sea had done for them. When the boasting was at its height, great waves suddenly appeared, crashing into the ship, sinking it to the sea bottom. Only the few who'd thanked the sea for her help survived to tell what had happened."
"Are you saying I should go outside and say thank you to the sea for the calm waters?" Sigurd asked.
"Yes, and for the high winds pushing us toward our destination. Usually the winds travel the other direction this time of year."
Sigurd opened his mouth and then closed it, looking like a confused fish out of water. Willow, taking advantage of the quiet, asked, "Have either of you heard of a giant leopard?" Giant leopard. Nope, never heard of it," Sigurd said.
"I've heard it mentioned in passing, but I don't know a lot about it. Why? Is the leopard guarding a sacred object?" Hawk asked.
"Perhaps," Willow said, thinking back to the tapestry she had studied and what the Book of Ivy had shown her. "I'll know more when I'm face to face with her."
"We should ask the villagers in Nor what they know about the animal," Sigurd suggested, shifting position to get comfortable. "If the leopard is near their homes, they should know all about her, including where she lives." "We should approach them carefully, however," Hawk advised. "We don't know if the leopard is good or bad. If we act as if we are hunters and their job is to protect it, they won't tell us the truth even if they talk to us at all. I think you should act like curious strangers, passing through their village. Don't ask too many questions to have them get their guard up, but also find out enough information so we can find her."
"Good idea," Willow said. "After what happened in Niker, our new philosophy should be cautious, with eyes wide open."
"Yeah, don't want to get surrounded, knocked out, shoved in a cell, and then beaten for information ever again," Sigurd agreed.
Piping in because he'd been silent for way too long, Val said, "He has such a way with words, doesn't he?" "Focus on the topic at hand," Willow thought. "If you don't know anything about the giant leopard, don't say anything at all."
"Fine, I'll be quiet and let you all plan. Far be it for me to lead you astray with my comments," Val huffed. "What could I possibly add to your vast collection of knowledge?"
"I didn't mean to say that you don't have anything to add. It's just that your negative attitude towards Sigurd is getting tiring."
If you want me to be nice to the boy, I guess I can try, Val said. For your sake only, not his.
That's all I'm asking, Willow said, turning her attention back to the others. She was surprised to find Hawk standing next to her with a hand on her shoulder. Sigurd was nowhere to be seen. Where'd he go? She asked.
Outside, remember?
Hawk asked, looking concerned.
He said he needed some fresh air, and you nodded. You all right?
I'm okay. Just having a disagreement with Val. Nothing to worry about, Willow said reassuringly. I think I'm going to take a nap.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll make sure nobody bothers you,
Hawk promised. Brushing a hand across her cheek, he smiled at her and then left the room. Sitting at a table in the IMO Inn 2 days later, Willow was surprised at how crowded it was during the day. Laughter and talk permeated the air, and from where they sat, she saw mugs of beer being drunk as if they were water. The AMO Inn was much different than she'd imagined it would be. The walls were completely void of trophy animal heads, as one would expect for an inn in prime hunting territory. Instead, the walls were lined with decorative beer steins and animal horns of all shapes and sizes. All of the wood beams, railings, and shelves were hand-carved with animal heads, outlines, and hunting scenes. The craftsmanship and detail was so fine and all-encompassing that she couldn't see even one unadorned spot. Along the far wall were stairs leading to the open second-floor balcony, where more men drank beer and talked. As far as she could tell, there were no actual rooms in the inn, making Willow wonder how it had come to be called an inn. For didn't all inns have rooms? Coming to the table, Hawk sat and leaned closer to the others.
I talked to the barkeep, and he said that the guy we're looking for should be here in an hour or two. Wouldn't give me his name, but promised to tell him we wanted some information about the giant leopard.
How did he react when you asked? Sigurd asked, keeping his back to the wall and his eyes constantly scanning the inn, looking for any sign that trouble was coming. Nervous? Shifty?
He was more curious than anything. Said most hunters looking for the leopard come in the summer. Mentioned how not a lot of people were smart enough to come in the fall. I wanted to ask him about that comment, but I figured we'd ask the expert when he comes in.
If he comes in, Sigurd muttered. Sigurd, Willow reprimanded, don't be so pessimistic. What is wrong with you today? There's nothing wrong with me, he countered. I think this is a setup, that's all.
Not everything can be a setup,
Hawk said, turning his chair slightly so he faced the room better.
All we need to do is wait for this guy to come and pray that he'll be willing to answer our questions.
Can't we go to his house? Willow asked, shifting in her seat as she sipped the beer before her. I hate leaving everything to chance.
No, I asked that. Barkeep said the guy only ever talks to strangers here and would never open the door for us, even if we did find out where he lived, Hawk said.
Fine, we wait, Sigurd said before taking a sip of his beer. Watching the door open and close with every arrival, Willow started playing the game of, would this man be the person to tell her about the leopard? Some she could dismiss out of hand, for they were not what she'd expect a person with great knowledge about the wildcat to look like. When others, however, with clean clothes and a put-together appearance entered, she waited with breathless anticipation for the barkeep to signal to the stranger and tell him that 3 strangers had questions only he could answer. It wasn't until, however, a woman entered this almost completely male domain that Willow began to suspect that the person they were expecting might not be a man. Slight in build and old enough to be a great-great-grandmother, the woman carried herself gracefully and with the elegance of one much, much younger in age. Nudging Sigurd and Hawk, Willow nodded toward the woman now making her way to the bar. Think she's the one?
Aren't we waiting for a guy? Sigurd asked, looking over the woman. That's what the barkeep led me to believe, Hawk said.
They watched as the barkeep leaned close to the woman, spoke quietly for a minute, and then gave her a beer. Nodding her head to something he said, she picked up the beer and walked directly to their table. Pulling out the only available chair, she sat in it, took a big swig of her beer, and said,
Heard you wanted to talk to me. If you can tell us about the giant leopard, then yes. If not, then sorry, you've got the wrong table, Sigurd said. What's your interest in the leopard? The woman asked. You hunters? The way she asked the question and looked them over gave Will the impression the woman didn't think so. No, miss, what did you say your name was again? Willow asked. You can call me Christ, she responded. I'm Willow, and these are my companions, Hawk and Sigurd. We're travelers, not hunters. Then what you want to know about the leopard for, then? We heard about it, and just wanted to know more about it, Hawk said. Chris looked at them long and hard. Do you think I was born yesterday? If you don't want to tell me the truth, I'm not saying another word. Shoving her chair back, she started to get up, but stopped, and Willow said, Please, Chris, we didn't mean to insult or lie to you. You going to tell me the truth? She asked. Trust her with some of the truth, Val advised. She doesn't need to know everything. Yes, Willow promised, looking into the old woman's blue eyes. We'll tell you the truth. Chris turned her gaze to Hawk and Sigurd, and they each nodded their heads, silently echoing Willow's promise. Good, Chris said, shoving her chair back into place and taking a swig of the beer. I'm only going to ask this one more time. Why are you interested in the leopard? I have reason to believe that the leopard is guarding an object, a very special object, and in order to retrieve it, I need to get around the leopard, Willow said. What kind of object? Chris asked before taking another gulp of her beer. I don't know. No, I really don't know what it is, Willow stressed, when Chris' expression turned to disbelief. If I knew, I'd tell you, but I don't. What do you want to know? Chris asked. Anything and everything you're willing to tell us about the leopard, Hawk said. Laughing, Chris slapped the table a few times before she said, That narrows it down, don't it? As fast as her humor had come, it disappeared. That leopard's been out there since before the time of my great-great-grandma, well over 200 years. Never knew of a leopard to live that long, but everyone that have seen flashes of her and bragged about it swears it's the same one. It's always prowled around this region, and for as far back as anyone can remember, people have been trying to catch her. Her? How do you know it's female? Sigurd asked. The few people that have come back alive after looking for her said she had cubs with her. Everyone who knows anything about our leopard knows she don't let her mates stick around to care for the cubs, Chris said. She likes being a solitary creature, except when she has those babies. Anywho, she likes to wander all over Enora, especially in the summer. Nobody ever knows where she's going to end up because she likes traveling to new places. Her unpredictable nature is what makes her so hard to spot, let alone kill. Have there been a lot of hunters over the years? Willow asked. Yes and no, Chris said with another laugh. There've been a lot of people thinking themselves hunters that have gone looking for her, but they were so stupid I knew they'd get nothing but lost. As for the real hunters, they've been far and few between, and more often than not, she's killed them. You said she travels a lot in the summer, Hawk said slowly. But what about the fall or winter? Does she continue to travel, or does she have a den? I like how your mind works, boy. Yeah, she does have a den, not too far from here. Hard to get to, though. Why? Willow asked. Because it's in a remote part of the forest, high on the side of a mountain. Only an experienced climber or a leopard can get to it. But you do know where it is, don't you? Willow asked, sounding a little desperate. I might have been around there once or twice during the summer, but that was years ago when I was a nimble young thing like you, she said, nodding toward Willow. Have you ever seen her? Sigurd asked. Going quiet, Chris' eyes clouded with memories. Once, I'd been out in the woods looking for berries when suddenly I came upon her. Beautiful creature she was, with her snow-white body and those black spots. Never seen anything so beautiful in all my years. And her strength. I could feel it from where I was standing, and she wasn't even coming at me. How did you get away? Hawk asked, engrossed in the woman's tale. She let me go, sniffed the air, and must have decided I wasn't a threat, 'cause she turned around and walked away. Never so afraid in my life, I'll tell you. I thought I was a goner the second I saw her. But she left me hale and whole. Did you see something strange, though, when she walked away? What? Willow asked. Thought I saw her coat turn red, but it must have been a trick of the sun. Never even heard of a leopard changing color, so it must have been my eyes playing tricks on me, Chris said. Would you be willing to draw us a map and give us directions to where her cave is? Willow asked. Chris looked at them carefully before saying, Sure, but I gotta warn you, I'm not a drawer. We'll take whatever you can give us, she said. Reaching for the piece of parchment and a quill Hawk had pushed toward her, Chris started to draw. First you follow the path behind this inn. Only good path this time of year. Then when you reach the first fork in the path, you take a right and continue on until... You have been listening to From the Flames by Trisha M. Wilson. Read, recorded, mastered, encoded, and produced by Colbyjack.net. This work is released under a Creative Commons 3.0 Attribution, Non-Commercial, Share-alike license. Do what you want with it, just don't try to profit from it. Heaven knows we can't. If you have any questions, comments, or rants you wish to share with us, we can be reached at Colbyjack at Colbyjack.net. That's COLBYTRAX @ COLBYJACK.net. Yep, I sing it too. If you want to follow the exploits of Trisha in Twitterland, just search for Lady Trisha W on Twitter, or follow the ever-dashing, courageous, hardworking, intelligent, and immensely humble Colbyjack on the Twitters as well. If you find that you can't, just wait to find out what will happen with Willow, the strong dude and the annoying dude. Be heartened to know that From the Flames is available from Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Smashwords, as well as from our little shop. Didn't you know about our little shop? Why, yes, we have a little shop located at shop. That's shop.colbyjack.net. That's shop.colbyjack.net. Yeah, real original there. There you will find the latest ebook versions of all our works in both Mobi and ebook, all DRM-free, as well as audiobook versions of such works as Firmware Hijacked and Proxy, as well, naturally, as well as From the Flames. The audiobooks differ from the podcasts in that the headers and bumpers only run once, and the episodes are grouped in hour-long episodes for easy burning to CD or for downloading on the go. If you find you don't need any stuff, but just want to thank us monetarily for our efforts here, just head on over to Colbyjack.net, select either audio or visual, and look for the donate button located on the blog roll. Well, anyway, thank you for listening. Have a wonderful week, and remember to be fabulous.